All right, guys, this is part 2 of our rundown of the greatest of all-time MVPs for StatSports Leagues. Here we go. Season 6 MVP Dan Eves once again, this time for World Century Marketing. They ended up being the champion, and guys, this might be the most outrageous stat line that we've seen from an MVP. 39 points per game, 22 boards, and 3.5 steals per game. And as I just mentioned, World Century Marketing ends up being the champions. This season we took a poll for MVP, a historic 2,800 votes. He did not win the online poll, interestingly enough, but anyone who knows basketball knows that he is definitely the MVP this season and maybe the all-time MVP. Next on the list, Season 7, Benjamin Sim from J.R. Krieger's Gold. Now this is the first time we saw an MVP at his size with this kind of athleticism. He was hungry and he played every great game like he was trying to prove himself. And not long after, he made the roster for the Westport Malaysia Dragons. Season 8, and guess who's back? Dan Eves once again, this time for the unstoppable Red Baron team, maybe the GOAT of all championship SSL teams. This Red Baron team featured 3 former MVPs, 2 former defensive players of the season, not to mention all their stat leaders, the top 3-point shooter, blocks, and rebounders as well. And even with that stacked team and limited minutes, Dan still averaged 28 points per game, 15 rebounds, 4 steals, and 1 block in every single game. Now Season 9's MVP goes to the KL Rhinos' Kennedy Okonkwo. Hope I got that right. This was a rough regular season for the Rhinos, but Kennedy was a lone bright spot for them. He averaged 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, and almost 3 steals each contest. Again, they struggled to put a team together this season, but a prime Rhinos team and Kennedy playing like this, like the way he did this season, this would have been an all-star SSL team. All right, Season 10, Season X. MVP was Chu Wei Hong of the Excelligent Stallions. At 33 points per game, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.5 steals per game, this was a pretty sick MVP stat line. Chu Wei Hong, he was the unicorn. He was SSL's Porzingis on his worst day and Kevin Durant on the best day this season. For this season, it was a 2-horse race between the Stallions and the Advanced Pro for champion, but it was a runaway victory for Chu Wei Hong for MVP this season. Maybe an all-time GOAT MVP? And finally, our reigning MVP from Season 11. Benjamin, the Nigerian god, Olajide, last season with the Mercenaries, averaging 37 points per game, 19 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2.5 assists. So let's break this down. In Season 10, Ben had a 61-point game and 3 games with at least 20 rebounds. And not only that, he did so playing on the free agent mercenary team, which, you know, as anyone knows who plays on a free agent team, it's not the easiest experience. So he had to do most of the heavy lifting. That said, he helped the Mercenaries get all the way to the playoffs and got his second MVP. So there you have it. Let us know who you think is the greatest of all time StatSports League MVP.